Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby, and today we are talking about the biggest block in changing your self-concept. Now, if you're new to this channel and you want more videos like this one, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button below, hit that bell. It's gonna let you know when I release new videos. And if you like this video, a great way to support this channel and help spread the information is simply by clicking that like button below. So back to the video, the biggest block in changing your self-concept. So let's start with, what is your self-concept? Well, your self-concept basically is how you see yourself, but it isn't only that. It's how you think you should be treated, how you think the world works, what you think you deserve, so on and so forth. There's so many different aspects of it. That's why it is vital. And you have something inside of you called your cybernetic mechanism. And what is that? And a simple external example of that is a thermostat in your home. So you have a set point, say it's 72 degrees, and when that air starts getting hotter than that, something kicks on and it brings it back to 72. If it gets lower than that, something kicks on and it goes back to 72. It wants to stay as close as possible to that set point. The same thing is happening inside of you with your self-concept, the concept you have of yourself. If you start doing better than you think you're supposed to do, we know this as self-sabotaging behavior, where say you're trying to lose weight and you start losing weight, and then you start doing things that are conflicting what you're trying to do. It also happens in money, right? You see somebody, maybe a friend, maybe somebody you know, who's doing really, really well. They're growing their business, and then something seems to happen. They start having behavior that's contradicting that ultimate vision. And why is that? It's because that person's self-concept is at a set point. And if they start being too successful, and I use that term loosely because it's not objective, it's subjective. In their heads, deep subconsciously, they're starting to act outside of this safe zone on who that they think they are, that concept of them, that image they have deep embedded according to all the things they've been through up until now. So if they start getting too successful subjectively, something will happen, something kicks on, and it brings them back to the set point. And the same thing happens too. You might see somebody who starts really being unsuccessful and they start really acting in behaviors that are reckless and wild. Then they get it together and then they rise up and they get back to who it is that they are, right? And so basically what happens is that person's gotten too low, and then something kicks on and they need to bring it up, because the concept that they have of themselves, if they get behavior down here, it doesn't register. It is not who they are. So your self-concept is essentially formed, the majority of it, between the last trimester you were and your biological mother and 7 years old. Why is that? It's because of brain waves. Majority of the time when we were at that age, we were in theta brainwave, and theta brainwave is basically the language of the subconscious. So if we spent most of that time in theta brainwaves, that means things were going straight into our subconscious. We saw something, we were told something, we had an experience in our life, and we stored that to be true. We had that idea and we took it to be true, and now it has formed a belief. Now, a belief is simply something you thought over and over and over. Now, if it's gone into your subconscious, it's programmed into you, and you run off of the subconscious beliefs you have. A belief is simply an idea that you think over and over and over. Multiple beliefs is actually what forms perceptions, and perceptions are how you see the world. This is when we bring in things like your RAS, your reticular activating system. This is what also helps to construct and for you to see out into the world, and for the world to reflect who it is that you are, essentially confirmation bias. So when you're at that young age getting this idea of who it is you were, if you were told that you're not creative, you literally will take that to be true, go out into the world, and that is your set point. You will find opportunities that are going to, one, prove that you're not creative, and two, give you situations where you can't actually confront that belief, so it stays in there and it's never moved, because that is your set point. You have things in your head like your amygdala, which when you start acting outside of these points, kicks on. It's like, oh my God, we're in danger, code red, code red. Really, it's deemed dangerous because it is outside your perception of who it is you are. It is in the unknown, the unfamiliar. It's really important as you start to explore what your self-concept is and what version of yourself you really want to live in this world, that unfamiliar, reminding yourself that it doesn't mean that it's not safe. It simply means it's unfamiliar. Just the same as you go into a new neighborhood, you might need to pay more attention because because there's new streets you don't know. There's new aspects to that environment that you want to pay closer attention to because you're not familiar with it. It doesn't make it dangerous. So now that you understand that what it is that was formed when you were younger and the experiences you've had over and over and over, specifically that have given you a strong emotion, they are what has really formed your subconscious beliefs, which is what your self-concept is, who it is you think you are. Another way that your subconscious is influenced is when there's a strong emotion. Emotions are the result of experiences. So if you have something, you go out into the world, you have a new experience, and it's really embarrassing. Say you're going to do a presentation and you mess up and people start laughing at you. You're going to have a strong emotion from that, and you would store that as negative. You don't want to do that anymore. Well, if you're going towards a career which is in a leadership role, most of the things you're going to need to do are talk in front of people. You would actually veer away from that because subconsciously your self-concept does not want to have being laughed at. And since that is an unconscious belief of that experience, you'll go through life thinking you have free will when really your decisions are based on that experience that's stored in your subconscious, and you're acting off of that. So now that you understand how powerful your self-concept is, and no matter what is happening in your life right now, it is who you think you are. And unless you're actively looking at what your self-concept is and challenging it, you will continue to run off that same program, and your past is going to just essentially be recycled into your future. And when you look towards your future, you're going to be looking through the lens of the past, because who it is that you were is going to continually be who it is that you are. And if you watched any other of my videos, I talk a lot about Dr. Joe Dispenza, who says your state of being is how you think and how you feel. And how you think and how you feel sends out an electromagnetic signature into the quantum field. That signature is essentially an order form to the universe. So the universe is going to give you who it is you are being, how it is you are thinking, and how it is you are feeling. So if you continually have that same self-concept, you're going to continue to get the same experience, because how you think and how you feel is simply reflected back, and that is what your current life is. So the biggest block in changing that self-concept is allowing yourself to go into those old states of being. So it is pivotal that you understand and you are paying attention and you bring awareness to what you're thinking and what you're feeling on a consistent basis. This is where the work really is, because if you allow your external environment to shift you out of where it is you want to go, say you want to have that abundance, say you want a career change, say you want that secure relationship, and you're being in that state, thinking from that inversion, living in the end, as Neville Goddard would say, and something happens in your outside environment and it makes you think, oh, I don't have this, and it starts getting you feeling and thinking about lack and scarcity, it's going to shift you to a different state of being, because you're going to start thinking and then feeling differently. Every time you have a thought, your body releases a chemical so that you can feel the way that you're thinking. Thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body, and they always want to communicate. So if you're allowing your states of being to continually shift throughout the day, you are not actually sending out a consistent basis. So it's still that default of what's subconsciously deep inside of you. To remove that block, you need to bring awareness. You need to be present. And the only way that you can create a new life, the life that you want, the experiences you want to have, is to be in the present moment. The present moment is the only place you can create from. You can't create from your past, and you can't create your future through the lens of your past. You need to be now. You need to realize only when you can continually maintain that new state of being, continually maintain who it is that you want to be, confronting those old self-concepts of you that you have and evolving them into your ultimate potential, is when you can really start shifting your life. But the biggest key here is maintaining that new state. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.